Hi guys, we hope that you are having fun at home. We are having fun here at the Clay Center doing a few science experiments. We also look to you to be our junior scientists and experiment right along with us, especially with the one that we're doing today. Today is bubble science. So lots of us love to play with bubbles, and bubbles are super easy to mix up at home. So let's talk a little bit about bubbles. I have a cup of water here and a super science straw, and I'm going to just use some of my air to blow some bubbles. And you guys are going to make some observations with your sense of sight about how these bubbles appear and what happens to them. All right, here we go. Ready? All right, so you can definitely make bubbles in water because water molecules, they like to stick together, but they're willing to stretch a little bit. But do the bubbles stick around for very long? I kind of blew the bubbles, you saw them, but as soon as I stopped blowing air into the cup, the bubbles stopped, right? They disappeared. But how can you make a bigger, better bubble? Well, I'll answer that question for you. You can add soap. So I have a little bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid here. I'm just going to add a little bit of soap to my water, and now make some observations when I blow bubbles. Ready? What happened that time? Yeah, the soap formed bubbles, definitely. But those bubbles are sticking around. They're not just coming and going like the water bubbles did. And there's a reason for that. So I'm going to go into a little bit of bubble science with you. All right, so what happens is water molecules, like I said, they like to stick together. They're slightly attracted to each other. They like to be friends and hold hands really kind of tight. And they're willing to stretch, but not very far. So when you add the soap molecules kind of slip between the water molecules and cause them to loosen up a little bit and stretch out. So the soap molecules are kind of letting those water molecules stretch apart, and it creates these little bubbles like you see here. All right, so now that you know a little bit of why soap helps us form bubbles, I'm going to tell you how to mix up some of your own bubble solution. So the way we do it here at the Clay Center is we like to save our old juice jugs or Hawaiian punch, or even milk jugs would work, but you just have to rinse them really well. But you need a gallon jug, and then you need a measuring cup. So what we do is we just add 1 cup of Dawn dishwashing liquid. Any dishwashing liquid would work. We just find that Dawn works really well for us. So you put a cup of Dawn dishwashing liquid or any dishwashing liquid into the jug, and you fill the rest up with water. And this is what our bubble solution looks like when it's ready to go. So now you might be thinking, okay, well, I have bubble solution, but I don't have a bubble wand, right? Well, no bubble wand, no problem. I'm going to tell you how to use bubble solution and find a bubble wand anywhere in your house. Oops, after I spill bubble solution all over the table. All right, so I've poured out my bubble solution. I have a pretty big bubble wand in here that we'll talk about in a minute. But I've gone around the Clay Center and I've found a couple of things that could work as bubble wands. So I found a drain stopper that might work as a bubble wand. We'll find out. I found a little basket from the cafe that might work. I found a spatula up in the kitchen. And let's see, I think that's a potato masher. So that might be a great bubble wand. Somebody's been curling their hair here at the center, so I found a curler piece. A little whisk. I'll add that to here. I found a ruler, but the ruler has a nice little hole in the end of it there. So that might make a good bubble wand. And finally, I found a spoon. Now, let's test some of these bubble wands and figure out which ones work and which ones don't. Okay, so I'm going to use the potato masher first. Works pretty well. Makes quite a bit of bubbles all at once. All right, I'm going to kind of get them out of my way as I go. Let's see, let's try the whisk. That one could be fun. Oh, that one makes nice bubbles. Ooh. Really dunk it in there. Woo, nice. All right, so we have 2 bubble blowers that we know of just hanging around our house. Let's use the ruler here. Oh, it made a little tiny bubble. Oh, a bunch of tiny little bubbles that time. So the hole in our ruler works quite nicely. Oh, let's try the spatula. The spatula has some long openings in it. Let's see if it works. Whoa, that one was kind of big. Let's go to the side. Oh, there we go. We got a bubble out of it. All right, let's try the sort of the curler holder. Oh, that one works really well. Nice. All right. Whoa, that was a cluster of bubbles. Let's try our basket. Do you think the basket's going to work? I think we're on a roll here. Whoa. That makes a bunch of bubbles, big cluster. All right, how about our drain stopper? I'm going to use the side because it has some openings on the side. Maybe, maybe not. Woo! It worked. Okay. I mean, it's not the best bubble blower, but it makes bubbles. All right. The last thing I have here is my wand, my spoon. Why is this not a very good bubble blower? Why is this not a great bubble wand? Have you guys figured it out yet? Have you guys figured out what all of these supplies here have in common that maybe my spoon doesn't have in common with them? I think you figured it out. All of these guys have little enclosures, little openings or holes in them that are completely enclosed. Those have little square holes. This one has a round hole, round holes. Even though this one's a slit, it's still an enclosed circle. So that's basically what you need to make a great bubble wand. But we don't want to leave the spoon out. The spoon is pretty sweet. We can still use it. We just have to add to it. So I'm going to use my hand to help the bubble, or help the spoon become a bubble wand, hopefully. Nice. So I just kind of create a circle using my hand. Or you can just get rid of the spoon completely. You don't even need to find stuff around your house. You have your own bubble blower. So you just put your finger and your thumb together and you can blow bubbles all day long. Pretty cool. All right. So one other thing that you might have noticed when we were doing this is all of our bubbles were round, right? They were all spheres. Now, why are bubbles always spheres? Good question. So we talked about the fact that water molecules, soap helps water molecules stretch a little bit. So bubbles are elastic. Maybe. So if I move my bubble wand back and forth, you'll see that that soap film stretches. But as soon as I stop moving the bubble wand, it kind of snaps back to being flat again. It doesn't stretch. And that's because bubbles are a little lazy. They like to be the smallest shape possible. So I'm going to make a big, try to make a big bubble with my big bubble wand. Whoa, a sphere. And a sphere is the smallest surface area possible in a shape. If you think about it, and you could try this at home too, if you get down into the smallest shape that you can make by bending down and hugging your knees, have somebody tell you what shape you look like. You look like a ball because it's the smallest shape that you can make. So bubbles, or the smallest surface area. So bubbles are kind of this, they like to be the smallest surface area possible. So every bubble that you blow that floats around in the air is always going to be a sphere shape. Now you can use some different structures to make different shaped bubbles, but they're not going to float around in the air on their own as a square or a triangle or a heart. All right, guys, this was so much fun experimenting with bubbles. I hope that you find some stuff around your house to make bubbles and bubble solution. But again, make sure you ask the grown-ups in your house if you can use the stuff from the kitchen to use them as bubble wands. You guys have fun, and we'll see you soon.